Okay. So let me go back up here to the DNS. Remember, we were having some issues with NSLOOKUP here, so I found the solution. I was missing several steps, so I corrected those, and you should have that issue resolved now. So when you type NSLOOKUP here, and you were having this problem, right? So right here, give me one moment. So whenever you start your DNS server fresh, you have to restart the named service. Okay, so what is it saying here? Okay, service is active. Okay, so I have this client server here, and if you type ns lookup dns master 1.zmpt.com, and it should bring up this information here. Active. Okay, this is active. I'm going to restart here too. By the way, this is what I set up on 7. I have instruction for 6 and 7. Both of them are here on the site. DNS server setup 6 and 7. Okay. All right, good. I think I just started the server, so I need to start something. DNS. Okay, 117 now. Okay, actually I opened up a wrong one. Okay, I think I lost one of the boxes here, but all these have to be a part of the DNS, because each time you add a one server in here, it has to be added in here into this file here manually. Okay, give me 1 second here. I think I set up here, or 107. Let me turn the Pixie server on. No, this is not. I think I deleted it. 6 point. Okay, so I think the one I created as a client, I think I deleted that, but I'll show you what. So when you type ns lookup dnsslave.zmpt.com, so this information will bring you up the reverse lookup information here. Okay, so it will give you when you provide the name, it will give you the IP address and the port it's running on, and the name and the address. Let's try using reverse lookup. Okay, so when you give them the IP address, what happens is it's going into the DNS server and providing the IP address and all that, and it's getting you the name of the server here, dnsslave.zmpt.com. Okay, com is over here. Okay, this is how it's supposed to work here. And then when you configure the client here, so all you have to do is you have to set up a client information, have to install bind and all this, and do little configuration on the client. So you have to edit the network file. Okay, and then VI network file. Oh. This is the host name you have to put in there. Okay, so when you set this up and everything, next time you type in this here, nslookup zmpt01dev.zmpt.com, then it will give you the IP address. Once you get the IP address and you type nslookup and IP address, it will give you this information here. All this should be working here. Okay, other thing you need to remember is you have to run these commands here. What it will do is it will change the group and permissions here. So this is a different topic. I'm going to go into that in detail. And one other thing is you have to edit the network interface card and add DNS information here. And then DNS2. One is a master, DNS2 is slave here. So you're doing this on a slave box. What are you going to do on a master box? On the master box, you don't have to type DNS1 or 2. All you have to type is DNS and then the IP address of the DNS itself. Okay, so the document is pretty detailed. If you follow it through, you should be able to get it. And the Pixie server, this is what we set up yesterday. So you should be able to have that. Today we're going to work on something called Samba. What is Samba? Samba is nothing but share. So what you have on a network is sometimes you have to have a network share of share folder where you could put your documents online or on the network. So I'll show you how. Okay, so I have this here. So for example, I have these two are my local drives, and then these are all my network drives here. So what we're going to do is we're going to set this up one of these network drives here, and then you could share it on the network. And usually when you have a shared drive like this, This is what you do it for. When you go into your job, you get your PC, and then these are your network drives. So these are the drives shared with your team here. So you could go in there, and then you have all the documents that your team is sharing and saving on the network share. Okay. All right, let's take a look how we're going to do that. So I'm going to start up I'm going to start up a fresh server here. I'm going to do it on Red Hat 7. Any questions from yesterday? Anybody had a chance to install it and run it and see if it was working? Well, I didn't provide the document, so.
No, go for it. I have not tried it yet. I was working on a SSH keyless with multiple clients.
Okay, that's good. I'm going to actually rename this here, okay? Okay, I'm going to connect to 192.168.56.121. Okay, so let's see what does Samba means. Okay, so let's take a look here. So actually, the Samba it's a SMB protocol that is transferring data between the Linux and Windows boxes. So it's actually useful for sharing of vector sharing. Okay, so what do we need to do? We need to install some utilities. So let's see if we have internet connection. Yeah, we have got internet connection. So the very first thing I'm going to install is Samba utility. So before you install, you could also check if there is a package name Samba or the package you're looking for. So the command is yum provide Samba. So it will go on to the yum server and check and tell you that if a package is available with that name. So these are the internet repositories. It's actually going in there and telling you that this is something. Actually, this is where it's going here. This place, and this place. So all these looks the same here, and it searches that repository. It's not going through the local one because we don't care at this moment. But in your real world scenario, when you try to get any software, it's coming from the internet local repository. Yum install Samba, and then I'm going to do -y, but I'm not going to do that now. So I'm going to hit enter. It will ask you for the confirmation. Yes, again. Somebody is muting and unmuting. I don't know who that is. Okay. So this one is installed. So first thing is there. then what we need to do is we need to make a directory that we're going to share on the Windows platform. So I could make it here, but general rule of thumb is you create this directory on the root directory. So I'm doing mkdir slash, and then I'm going to name it Windows, then I'm going to name it share. So I'm sharing this on a Windows system. So that's why I'm going to do this. Okay. So the directory is there, Windows share. This is what we're going to be sharing it. And then we have to disable the SE security. So get enforce. So SE Linux is saying get enforce is enabled. So what is SE Linux? SE Linux is a deep topic, but the good news is it is disabled on your system because it's somehow related to the security part. SE Linux is disabled, as well as Firewall is disabled on the system. All these things are managed on the network layer. So there is a lot of headache that you don't have to go through. So those things are just disabled, okay, in your environment. And it's a pretty good news for you because you don't have to deal with a lot of problems that might occur because of that. I think I googled SE Linux, right? So SE Linux is nothing but a security enhanced Linux. It's a kernel security module that provides a mechanism for supporting access control security policies, including mandatory access controls. Okay, so it was developed by NASA, NSA, and Red Hat. So I'm not worried about this here because most of the time this is disabled, okay? It's a good feature to have it, but it's disabled. Right, this is just information. So how are you going to set enforce? And if you type 0, it will set as permissive. When it says permissive, that means it's disabled. All the security holes are open now. Okay, to enable it, set enforce 1. You check the status, it's enforcing. So we are interested in set enforce 0. Okay, we want it gone. Okay, so why do we want it gone? Because it's going to create problems when we are talking with Windows. A lot of things it's going to try to block it. Okay, and the next thing is we have to change the permissions for the folder. CD root and ls-l, and let's look at the permissions for the directory. So the owner is read, write, execute, and others can't read and others cannot read and execute. Okay, so let me set the permissions here. We're going to go deep on this probably starting next week. Okay, that's the name of a directory. I'm going to set it to 777. That means read, write, execute. Okay, if you look at here, the directory is here. When I do ls-l again, the permissions have changed here. Okay. Okay. So now what we need to create a user. User is going to be the only user from the Windows side that will be connecting to this shared to this Windows share, but that user have to authenticate before he is able to connect to this box here. Okay, so that makes sense, right? If you try to go into somebody's home, either you could break it down or you would knock on it or you would have a key or something like that. So that's what it is. So the good way to enter a home is to open with a key. Okay, let's do it. So let's see here. Let me see if Zafar is already there. User. Okay, I'm going to create a user, user add sm let's make it win user. I'm going to create a user name win user, okay? And I hit enter. So if I go into this file here, there is a user name has been created, win user. Okay, and now instead of setting up the regular password, there is a different password you have to use to set up for SMB user. SMB stands for Samba. So what are you going to do? SMB password. Okay, then you type -a and then the username window uh, win user, right? Yeah, win user. Okay, and then it's asking the password, new SMB password. Okay, so I'm going to give red hat again. Okay, so added user, win user. Oh, okay, so it added the user. Now we're going to confirm if that user is added to the SMB file, that when they're going to try to connect from Windows, if they're going to connect or not. Okay, so what is the command? pdb edit -l. Okay, it will give you the list of the user which is in which is the user from the outside will be able to connect here. Okay, so this is a win user, and then his group is 1000. Okay, you see it here, and his group is 1000 here, and it's a win user. Let's add one more user here. So maybe we don't have to add the user. Then what we could do is we could just try this here. Win user, and then I'll type Mac user. Okay, and what it's going to do is going to do ask for the password. Okay, so I do have to add the user the other way. User add Mac user, and then I'm going to run that command again. Okay, so user is added to the SMB list here. So if we run the command pd edit -l, we should see 2 users here. Okay. All right. Okay, the command is pd edit -l. Okay, this is the output, what you should see here. Okay. Okay. Now there is a configuration file you have to edit. Okay, so where is usually the configuration files? What folder?
The EDC.
Yeah, very good. So what I need to do is okay, so I'm going to go into vi etc samba smb.conf. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go all the way down in here, and these are all these things here. I mean, if you want, you could delete them. Yeah, just leave it alone. Okay, and Okay, so what you have to do is you have to, in square brackets, you have to type WinShare. Okay, and then, so if you type like printers, what it's doing here is it's going to look for the printer information here. And this is like a home directory. This is like a global work groups. So I don't really deal with this a lot, but I deal with the something like this. So you push a tab here, you type WinShare, and then you type path equals slash the name of the window file we created, window folder. We name it at Windows Share, right? Windows-share. So whatever you gave the name right here, whatever the name you gave it, when you create the directory, you have to give that same exact name here, okay? Or else it won't work. And you want to type writable equals, yes. So you want a user should be able to write to the folder. Okay. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna run the command test pram and see what will happen. Okay, okay. All right, so let's disable the let's disable the uh, let's disable the firewall. Okay, so since this is Windows 7, what we're gonna do is, I'm sorry, Windows 7, CentOS 7. Okay, I'm gonna run the command systemctl status firewall d.service. Okay, so the firewall is on. Okay, the command is systemctl stop firewall d.service. So it stopped here. So we could check the status and it says it's loaded, but the service is inactive here. Right here it says inactive, that means it stopped here. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna disable it. So next time the system restarts, it will not come back up here. Now it says firewall service loaded, enabled, inactive, dead. Active, inactive, dead. Somebody is like beeping in and out, beeping in and out. I don't know who that is. Even though you are on mute. whoever is calling user 3, can you disconnect and connect again? Okay, so let's take a look here.
This beeping in, or somebody disconnecting and reconnecting connection. That's why when somebody joined the conference, it beeps and
Yeah, it's beeping like that, but
yeah.
nobody's disconnecting and connecting. You know, it's beeping from the start of the class. So I don't think anybody, a new person is joining in. I think whoever is calling user 3, if they could drop and connect again, that'd be good. Can everybody unmute yourself and mute again? Because I muted from my end, everybody. Okay, give me 1 second if I could.
That this is going on, and let's just say whatever he feels, yes, right.
Okay. Okay, it's better now. It's not.
Well, Zafar, I'm disconnecting for to come back just to rule out myself. Just let
Okay.
me know when I come back. Okay, I'm disconnecting basically.
Zafar, just confirmation. When I speak, this is Mazen, right? I'm not caller 3. I just want to confirm that I'm not the caller 3.
Yeah, okay. Hold on, everybody.
क्या बकवास करी? I can't even hear you. line of control की firing को भी यही कहते हैं ना? Firing ही होती है टेक्निक. क्या मतलब?
I'm back, Zafar.
Yeah.
Was
Yeah,
it
when
me?
you were gone, somebody else was there too.
Okay, so it was not me then.
No, I don't know. I think it's Shaquille here. Let me kick him out.
Kick me out. Go ahead.
Yeah, get off, man. I mean, can you go out and come back in?
Zafar, but I'm gonna leave the meeting.
Okay. All right, let's continue on, man. It's okay now. Okay, so the firewall is disabled here. Okay, so let me clear the screen. And now what I have to do is I have to start the HTTPD service. Okay, so systemctl. Okay. Okay, we'll come back to this here. We may or may not need this service here. But let's start the SMB service. Systemctl.
Zafar, was it me who made that beeping noise, or was it still?
It was still coming when you went off and come back in. I don't know. It's just, is it
I just
me?
rejoined too.
Okay, it's okay. Okay, so we started the SMB service. Okay, and there is one more NMB service. Okay, all these services are part of a package we installed here. Okay, so it says it's active. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is on the Windows box, I'm gonna connect to one of my Windows box here. I'm not sure this one is there. So I have a Windows box on my on my um, on my network here. Okay, so before we try to make a connection here, what you have to do is you have to go into the Windows add remove, go into add remove, what? Add remove programs here. And then you go click on turn Windows feature on and off. Okay, you click in here. Okay,
Motion detected at your back door.
okay. Then scroll down here and look for NFS. Okay, good. This thing need to be turned on. SMB 1.0 CIFS file share, it need to be turned on here, okay? For this to be able to working. Okay.
So by default, Windows 10 has disabled Samba 1.0. So in your case, it was enabled, but normally it is disabled. So in order to get it working, what you did,
Yeah.
you need to do that.
Yeah, just put a check box here, make sure both are checked, and then click OK. It's not up to date. Don't do that. Make sure you're in a window. Okay, I'll worry about that later. Well, so what are you saying is it's by default it's not enabled?
Yeah, one of them is unchecked.
Okay. So make sure both of them are checked in here, okay? Okay, that should help you. Okay, so once that is there, all you have to do is just map the drive here, okay? So how are you going to map the drive? You go up in here in Windows Explorer. And then what do you do? Okay, you go into computer and you click here and you select map a network drive. Okay. Okay, once you map it, then what you have to do is you have to get the IP address information here. So make sure you get this IP address 192.168.56.21. Okay, so you go in here, you go map a network drive, and then you could map it to any available one, and then you paste it in here. Okay, then before that you have to type 2 slashes and then a slash again, and then you have to give the name here, whatever the name you gave before. Okay, Windows hyphen share. Okay, make sure this is what you have given here. It says Windows hyphen share. Okay, if you're not sure, make sure you copy it.
So for that name, we can check even if we just type that backslash IP address in the Windows key in the where type here to search, that will whatever is shared that will pop up anyway, so we can find the exact name from there.
Okay, let's see if you could do it.
Yeah, just IP address on the search.
It's not finding it. Ah,
No, just type on the bottom just for that server.
type what?
In the we can open any window explorer and type this address in the Windows Explorer where you have this PC. Just type over there. No, just backslash IP address. Yeah.
What was the IP? 121. I don't think it's pinging here. Let's see.
So that's a bit easy way to figure out connectivity first. I mean, if it is paying over now before mapping to drive.
I didn't hear you. What'd you say?
I was saying that's an easy way to figure out connectivity and finding the folder etc. before mapping a drive to that.
Yeah, it's mapping here locally here, but this one is on a network. Let me see. I don't think it's mapping here. Yeah, it failed because it's on a different subnet. It's gonna fail for sure. Okay, so let's forget this here. So I'm on my own local machine here. Give me 1 second here. Let me just verify. Okay, so it's there here. So I should be able to map here. So what I do is I go in here. Map a network drive. Then I go 192.168.56.121. Okay, so it's already have seen it. And yeah, it's going to ask for the password here, username and password. Yeah, okay, even to browse it is asking for the username and password here. So the username is WinUser and the password is the password, and I click OK. Now it's seeing the WinShare and WinUser. What the?
That's fine, brother, because the Win user would have his home directory, so you will see that as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so in the Samba configuration, there was a thing over there that says the user creates his own directory.
Okay. When the user creates it, it goes into his own directory here. Okay, that's good too. So if you're mapping in the network drive, you select the one you want, and then you could type it in there like that, and then click finish. In the password. There you go. You are now mapped to the drive here. Okay, so when you go into this PC here, you could see the WinShare, and then it's mapped in here. So let's go here into CD WinShare, and then I'm going to create about 1,000 files here. Okay. Okay, now you see we have all these files here. Normally the user will be on the Windows side here. They won't have access to the Linux side. So the user, he would be using this, and then he will be creating documents in here. I think you could even create a Word document in here. Okay, fine. You could create Windows related documents here. Access database here. But I don't think all those will be readable on this side here, because let's see if you could cat it.
So there's nothing to cat. In Word document, we should type maybe one line, then we can see.
Oh yeah.
Whatever we are typing, we will be able to see that as a line because it is transferring over the protocol.
Oh really?
Yeah, that's what I guess.
If we do VI,
Yeah, cat, VI, whatever we want.
so I'm not seeing it live.
Just save that and then you can cat that file basically.
Yeah, it's not like a regular text file, right? That's why you read it. It's a Windows Word document.
So there's another issue. The Windows file, if you look at the name of the file, it says like new space text space document. So probably Linux is not understanding that.
Yeah. Let me just create only single document here and see what happens. I'm pretty sure you probably won't need, you are not able to read or whatever, unless it's a text file here. Let's see if we could read the text file. Yeah, but I'm not worried about it. So most of the time, users are clueless like where this is all being shared here. So this is where it's being shared. So in essence, you could set up the share for the LVM also, or the network NFS also. So if you have like NFS set up, what you could do is you could share it here. And most of the time, this Samba you set up here is for Windows user. That's all there to it. Okay, I want to capture the screen. And then you will get this here. Okay, good. So we are done with Samba here. Any questions?
Yeah, Zafar, I do have a question.
Yeah.
Why do we need a Samba server? I mean, we can instead use a FTP server, and FTP is doing the same thing.
No, Samba is exclusive for communicating between Windows and Linux.
Oh,
Also,
okay.
Zafar bhai, for FTP, you have to, if I'm a user, I need to know the FTP first. And second thing, for every time I need to see a document, I need to initiate a FTP connection, then port get a few things for everything. Samba
Yeah.
provides you that the way Zafar was showing, once you map the network drive, every time you start a PC, from common user perspective, all your files will be there. You can get and put whatever, you can
Yeah,
drag and drop whatever. A Windows user basically can play around without doing anything, without knowing any additional tool.
and the important thing I think is uh, because you could manage it better from the, if you want to take a backup and everything, you could manage better from the Linux side, and then you could have it connect when the Windows starts, it will connect automatically. So most of the time, the network share drives, you have it. I'm pretty sure it's still using. I'm not sure about now, but at least uh, at least up until last 5 or 6 years ago, definitely anything you had it coming from the, if you need a Windows, if you need a network share space, this would have been working through Samba. But I'm not seeing it used here, but still the use is there 50% of the time, I think.
Well, if the functionality is there in Windows 10, that means people are still using it, right?
Uh, it depends, if this is being used on a Windows server and all that, there is cost to it, right? But if somebody is using it on the Linux side, there is a less cost to it. The only cost is you don't have to pay. The only cost is for the person who is working on it. You have to pay the person. The licenses and all those things are free.
All right.
Also, but user won't know even if they're using Samba or
No,
not.
users are clueless.
Yeah, so they will just see it map
Somebody
network
will
drive.
tell them to
Yeah,
like use this IP address
yeah.
to map it. That's all it is.
Even that IP address is mapped by desktop support team. So once they image your laptop, the standard shared drives will all be there mapped to a letter. So normal user won't know even all those things.
Yeah, exactly. Normal users don't know. Even desktop people, I don't think they know much. On the server side, because you're dealing on the front end on the laptop itself.
And the entire company's basically all these drives will be on the one server, so it will be easy for backup and all those things for the entire population of the company.
Yeah, because you have to imagine, a company has thousands of users, so the costs keep multiplying each time you add a user in the environment. It's a cost. Actually, there is a business dollar exchange between the departments here. They charge each other. So if a new person gets hired like Mazhar, and they will have to create an account and all that, there is actually a business cost. Your business department is paying other business department from their budget. They're not actually sending out a check, anything like that, but their budget goes, budget shrinks. Okay, so I have found some of this information previously, so you could just read up on it.
So, for I think in your notes, there's two lines you added in the Samba configuration. Uh, you forgot to put over there. I
Yeah,
think.
yeah. Thank you. Very good. Make sure you use a tab. when you're putting in there, I don't think it will work without tab. That person's still going in and out, so I'm not sure who that is. But I've been having a lot of problems with WebEx lately, so it could be WebEx too. Once you put on mute, it should go on mute, right? Okay, we have 20 more minutes here, so I want to see. You know what? Actually, yeah, I'm gonna start the user administration a little bit today, and then we'll follow up next week. Okay, so let me officially give you guys. Let me create a new box. So if the server is down, and this is going to be gone. So So what, I mean, you guys kept like 2 copies, right? One for Red Hat 6 and 7 as a master copies, and keep it like this settings here. Once you have all those set to boot run level 3, what I normally have done is I just enabled here and NAT and host only adapters, so that next time what I do is just clone it and then I'll work through it, because you know, if you end up messing up, then you have you could create a one fresh copy. Okay, so I'm going to connect to 111. Okay, so let me officially introduce the users here. So what is normally happens, regardless if the system has any other user or not, there is a username root. Okay, so what is a root user? Uh, root is a, I explained this already. Root is a,
Super user?
yeah, root. Yeah, there are 3 or 4 kinds of root, right? What is other root? Yeah, other root is let me save this. Root is also a name of a directory, right?
Yes.
Actually, there are 3 roots. One is the name of a user, one is the name of a directory, and what is one more root? Okay, yeah. Root is a root is a super user. It's an administrator, and you will have a end all and be all. You have all the access and everything. Okay, slash root is a root directory. Slash root, this is a slash root. This is a root directory, and this is where everything else is based. And then slash root is a root user admin. This is a admin directory. This is what we're doing for administrator, also known as home directory. Okay, so there are 3 kinds of roots. Okay, so for you to be able to see, if you're logged into system here, and if you want to see what are the users in there, so what you could do is, the name of the file is password file. You could go cat etc password. So it's not spelled whole word password, password, it's just passwd, okay? And hit enter. And what you will see in here in this file is, let me go in a VI mode. So you see a very first user is a root user. You have to have this user before even you have any other users here. Okay, and what are the other users here are? These are like the users that our system is using to that the system is using it. These are built-in system users here. You may or may not have it, but I would highly recommend don't fool around with this. Here, for example, when you're running a shutdown command, it's actually a user which is running a shutdown command. And this command is here, sbin slash shutdown. It's running this command here, okay? And halt is command there too, mail. And there is a FTP. When we are using the FTP, there's actually a FTP user there. And I see nobody as a user to have no clue what that is. But to be honest with you, I'm not coming in here and fooling around as much here because these are some of the built-in users that you really don't have to be in there. Or, I mean, you don't have to, these are system created users here.
So, but Zafar, after the users, the next path is where the after logging in, the user will land to,
Yeah.
like root will land into bash.
Yeah, no, root will land into slash root. And that's the command, these are the commands it will be running here. So the
Okay.
bin directory is the root user directory here. And let's go up here to the directory structure.
So the other user will also be in the same file
Let's take a look.
if we create any user. So
No, when you create a user, the user will own directory. If you create a regular user, he will land in slash home slash username.
no, my question was that we will have a line for that user as well, right?
Yeah, let's take a look here. So bin is, he's going into slash bin. So let's see if I'm able to SU. Okay, this account is currently not available. Okay, SU. Okay, must be a root. So I'm a root here. So what these are here in essentially, these are actually a users, but they perform some hidden things for this root users here. So what you should see this as a root as a master, but these some of these commands are the minions. The little actually it's being executed as a user for it to be able to for that command to execute successfully. But if you delete something like this, you probably either crashing the system or you're gonna start having a lot of operating system problems here. So good rule of thumb is you normally don't mess around in here except when you're doing some kind of security, when you have like a high value server and you want to have like some of the some of these things here, like if you want to run shutdown even as a root, you won't be able to do it. So you could come in here and then turn some options off here. Then even if you run the shutdown, you won't be able to do it. Like FTP here, you could set up whatever FTP you want, but if you come here and delete some of this information here, then it will never be able to run FTP no matter what you have done to it. So these are some of the built-in functions here. But to be honest with you, I'm not dealing with them as much. I'm supposed to, but that's what it is there for. But I'm not sure if they have something like this in Windows. Did you ever come across in Windows like this? Windows has an administrator as a root password, right?
Windows have an Active Directory, I think. They have maintained all the users below.
Yeah, but what about the local users? These are all local users.
So can we add one user by ourselves? Like,
Yeah, we got 5 minutes, so let's add a user here. Okay, so to add a user,
we just added while
yeah,
configuring
the
Samba.
command is user add. And then I'm going to give it a name Zafar. And I hit enter, okay? So to add user, command is user add Zafar. Okay, so that's it. So what will happen here is you're going to cat etc password. It will make an entry into that password file here, where it has it created a Zafar here, and these are the other attributes. So we'll talk about it more in. But at the same time, it must have also created a home directory for user, and it's using the bash. You could change this here. I mean, I haven't talked about kind of command lines we have here, but this is what we have here is we are using a bash command line here. Okay, so let's go into cd/home, and if I do ls, there should be a folder named Zafar. So this is created by when we run the command Zafar, I mean add user Zafar, it creates this, it adds to this file here, okay? Okay, so you could clear this, and there is also one command here, type id and then space Zafar, and what it'll do is it will give you the information regarding the user. Okay, so and you get this information here. So what is this one? UID is a
ID.
user ID. Okay, and GID is gid is group ID, and then I belong. Group is a group. Which group I belong to? Groups is a group ID. Okay, so GID, group ID, and groups I belong to by default. All the Zafar is if you don't specify the group when you're creating a user, what it does is it will also create a group name Zafar. Okay, so how do you see all the groups? Where are all the groups here? So there is a file called etc login. Okay, so you go to cat etc login.defs. Okay, so I think let me go vi. So in here, create home, yes. So this login, this file is a setup file here, okay? So if you have like create home, so if I set it as no, when I create a user, it will not create a home directory, okay? Similarly, and if you have like a username enabled, if you say no, then the user group won't be added in there. So most of the time, okay, here. So these are all the other information here. It says like a group ID. So what it's doing here is it's starting from group ID 1001. I mean 1000. If I create another user, it will add a user. It will create another group ID, which will be 1001. I think we are out of time. We'll start back up again next week. And as soon as I get this video, I'll upload it. And the other, for the last 2-3 weeks, I haven't been uploading. So all those things are uploaded now here as of yesterday. So the only thing I need to upload is the Samba and the updated course document here. Okay. If you guys have any questions, put it in the chat. Okay. All right. I'll see you around. Allah Hafiz.
Thank you.
Thank
Allah
you.
Hafiz.